Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So before we can talk about ads, we need to talk about kind of our smoke test strategy. And a smoke test meaning we are not going to invest any money into inventory, zero. So this makes it so we have absolutely no risk, which is going to make this strategy beautiful. But we have two options we can choose, and they're totally up to you because I've done them both. However, I'm leaning now more towards the first option. This is what I've been using now 95% of the time. However, I also use this option, which is drop shipping directly from China. So I'm going to explain both of these, the pros and cons, with the drawing that I have right here. So we have two options and I'm going to explain them right now. So we can either go ahead and run our ads. We're going to run our ads. We're going to get some sales. We're going to see some conversions. We're going to see our metrics, and we're going to start getting some data, but we are not going to have any product. We're not going to order any product. We're not going to stress out about it. We're simply going to run our ads as if we have the product. Okay. Now, if we don't get any sales, then we don't have anything to worry about. We just threw $100 or $200 at some ads. We didn't get any sales. And we saw that we did the best ads we could, and we're like, okay, it's not a good idea. It's not a good product. We didn't invest anything into stock. However, if we did get some sales and they were rather profitable, which I'll be going over metrics in a little bit, then we have two options we can cover. We can either A, drop ship and order the product, most likely from AliExpress, and ship it directly from that supplier all the way over to the customer, which is going to take about 30 days. 20 to 30 days depending on the supplier's processing time. That's going to take 20 to 30 days. And basically your strategy here is you're just not going to tell the customer where it's coming from or anything. You're going to ship it on over, and when they get a little antsy, they're going to be like, hey, where's my product? You're like, well, it's coming. Here's your tracking number. They're like, oh, it's coming from China. That's option number one. Option number two is this option, which I've done both of them, by the way, but this option I kind of lean more towards because you can actually have a return customer and a happier customer. So what you can do is, as you're selling, you see some conversions, you go ahead and then you go immediately to a supplier and you're like, hey, I need to order about 20 units or 30 units of this product. You'd be like, okay, great. So they're going to go ahead and have a couple day processing time, or they might even already have the product in stock, and they'll ship it on over to you. So they ship it on over to you to the US, right? And with DHL Express, it takes about, well, honestly, the whole transit time will take 5 to 10 days, but with DHL Express specifically, that's only going to be 3 to 5 days, plus a couple extra days over here with this guy for processing. So this is going to take 5 to 10 days, and then you can ship it directly from the US, which will take, truthfully, anywhere from 4 to 7 days, and you can ship it right to the customer, and this will be one happy customer. So it's just two options. I honestly can't be a hypocrite because I've done this one, and I did this one right from the beginning. It's totally up to you. It really doesn't matter. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. Now, if I'm to go into specifics, how long should you actually sell for? Well, with whatever option you choose, I recommend at least selling for 5 to 10 days to gather data, a minimum 5 days to see, okay, oh, I got a sale. Oh, I got 10 sales. Oh, okay, I got 10 sales again. Wow, this seems like a really good product. Let me slow down. Let me go to the supplier and let me go ahead and do this option right here. And same thing with drop shipping from China. You still want to at least sell for a handful of days before you go ahead and pause your ads or slow down your ads. Now, the next thing we're going to cover is validation metrics. This is actually we're going to cover in my other account, but mainly, like in simple terms, if you are not converting for super relevant terms. So like if I'm advertising, I'm in the campaigns and I'm like, okay, what campaigns, what am I actually showing up for and converting for? So if I go into just one of these campaigns, which we'll be going into specifically in a little bit, but we go under keywords and search terms, if we see that we are selling custom socks, custom dog socks, pet socks, I'm not really worried if that one converted, pet socks for humans, put your dog's face on socks. If I'm not converting for a handful of these terms, I'm gonna be like, what the heck, why am I, this is exactly one-to-one what I'm selling. It's literally a see pizza, get pizza model. Well, it's either one of two things. Either the landing page, there's a big issue on the landing page that is just a huge red flag, or it's the price. And in that case, you're going to have to reevaluate and either lower your price or reevaluate and see your margins and if it makes sense to you. This is up to you, and you're just gonna have to make a decision. I like to at least have 50% margins because I can always negotiate with the supplier, but this is kind of up to you, and I'm giving you the overview. Now, how do you actually start? How do we actually start? Well, as we're gonna go into the campaign and create this, I wanna give you a quick overview. What we'll start with is about a 75-cent manual CPC, meaning we're gonna tell Google, hey, we're okay to spend 75 cents per click for this really warm traffic. Now, this might be too low, or this might be just right. If you're not getting any impressions, no problem, no worries. You just increase this to $1, $1.50. It's really up to you. I just like to suggest 75 cents so you don't go and spend a bunch and you're like, oops, oh my gosh, that was scary, right? I've done that before. And the next thing is the budget. How much should you actually spend overall? Well, I suggest at least spending $50 to $100 per day, or at least giving your campaign the ability to spend $50 to $100 per day overall. And that means setting your budget for the campaign to this, and hopefully it will spend at least $50 per day. It just depends on what keywords you picked, how much search volume there is. There's a couple other factors, but at least giving it the grace of spending this much is what I recommend. But how much do you actually spend physically before you make a decision? Now, this is important. I suggest you spend at least 3 times the cost of your product before making a decision. So what does that mean? So if your product is $50, I suggest you make a decision after you spend $150, meaning you're letting your ads run, you're seeing, okay, what's going on? Even if you spent $100 and you see, oh man, not a single sale, okay, I'd cut it. But if you see a couple sales and you're like, I'm almost break even, or ooh, I'm profitable, this is great, then obviously that's an easy decision. This is just a little overview, but now what we're actually gonna do is I'm gonna go manually and create the campaign and show you how we're gonna launch it as if I'm launching it for the fishing store. And of course, we're gonna go into here as well to cross-check so I can kind of guide you each step of the way just to give you as much confidence as possible. So I'll see you really soon in the next video.